There is a weight you carry. It's not physical, but you feel it in your shoulders, in the tightness of your jaw after certain phone calls, in the exhaustion that settles deep in your bones after a simple conversation. It is the psychic drain, the slow, corrosive rust that comes from dealing with a toxic person. They are a master of a quiet, insidious warfare, a kind of combat that leaves no visible bruises, but injures you all the same. Their weapons are not swords, but words expertly shaped like them. Guilt, passive aggression, backhanded compliments that land with surgical precision. They are architects of drama who possess an unnerving talent for making you feel like the one at fault. In the aftermath of an encounter, you find yourself replaying conversations on a loop, dissecting every word, questioning your own sanity, wondering if you are the one who is overreacting. Let me be clear, you are not. You are a reasonable person, trying to apply the rules of logic and empathy to a force that operates on neither. You have been given advice, of course. The world is full of well-meaning platitudes. People who have never faced this kind of psychological warfare will tell you to be the bigger person. They will advise you to kill them with kindness. This advice fails, and it fails for a catastrophic reason. It assumes your opponent is playing the same game by the same rules. You are playing chess, meticulously planning your moves, while they are knocking over the board, scattering the pieces, and claiming victory in the ensuing chaos. Kindness, to a person who views the world as a landscape of power and sees empathy as weakness, is not a virtue. It is an invitation to take more. It is a weakness to be exploited. So, when the good books and the gentle philosophies fail you, where do you turn? You must turn to the forbidden books. You must turn to the one man who stripped away all romantic illusions about human nature and wrote the definitive, unflinching, operating manual for power. Niccolo Machiavelli. 5 centuries ago, living in a world of constant betrayal, shifting allegiances, and the brutal realities of power, he dared to write down what everyone knew, but no one would say. His work was not a guide to being liked. It was a guide to being effective, to surviving, and ultimately, to winning. It is time to take this ancient, forbidden knowledge and apply it to the modern battlefield of your life. This is not about becoming a bad person. This is about learning the language of power, so you are no longer its victim. This is about building a fortress around your peace of mind. These are Machiavelli's 3 dark rules for dealing with the toxic people who threaten your sovereignty. The first and most crucial rule: it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. This sentence sends a shiver down the spine of any good person. It feels wrong. It feels cruel. It conjures images of tyranny and aggression. But we must immediately throw that interpretation away. We must understand Machiavelli's definition of fear, not through the lens of a bully, but through the lens of a strategist. This is not the fear born of violence. That is the tool of a crude, unsophisticated brute. This is a higher, more strategic fear. It is the fear of consequence. Toxic people operate in a world without consequences. Their entire strategy is predicated on your boundless well of forgiveness. They rely on your deep-seated desire to avoid confrontation, to smooth things over, to keep the peace. Your love, your kindness, your patience. These are not seen as virtues to be cherished, but as resources to be exploited until they are completely depleted. To make them fear you is to calmly and firmly introduce the concept that actions have reactions. It is to teach them, through your unwavering response, that there is a predictable, non-negotiable cost for crossing your boundaries. Consider the family member who is a master of the guilt trip. They have a history of making unreasonable demands wrapped in the language of love and obligation. They ask for a significant favor, something that would completely sacrifice your own well-being and plans. Your old, loved response would be to reluctantly agree, swallowing your own needs and then seething with a quiet, powerless resentment. The Machiavellian response is to make them fear the futility of their manipulation. You say simply, and without a trace of anger, "No, that is not going to work for me." The predictable counterattack is deployed. They say, "But after everything I've done for you, I guess I just can't count on my own family." This is the emotional blackmail you have been trained to dread. Your old self would crumble, apologize, and concede. Your new self lets those words fall to the floor like stones. You reply with the same calm tone, "I'm sorry you feel that way. My decision is firm. You do not argue. You do not list your reasons. You do not defend your position. You become a quiet, unbreakable wall. They will test this wall again and again. But when they are met with the same calm, immovable response, they will learn. They will learn that their favorite tool, their most powerful weapon, no longer works on you. They will begin to fear the predictable and disappointing outcome of trying to manipulate you. That is the fear you must cultivate. It is not hatred, it is respect, earned through unshakable strength. This rule is not a call to aggression. It is a call to become a hard target. You are teaching the world how to treat you. Love is given freely to those who cherish it. To those who would exploit it, you must offer something else. The chillingly calm certainty of a line they dare not cross. The second rule is a masterpiece of psychological strategy. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Again, we must translate these stark terms into the modern world. In our context, force is the dramatic emotional confrontation. It is the angry, multi-paragraph text message sent late at night, fueled by frustration. It is the shouting match in the kitchen. It is raising your voice, showing your pain, and engaging in the chaotic battle they have designed specifically to harvest your emotional reaction. To use force is to fall headfirst into their most obvious trap. The toxic person is a connoisseur of emotional reactions. Your anger is their wine. Your tears are their dessert. The moment you become visibly emotional, you're handing them the victory on a silver platter. You have shown them that they have power over you. Deception, then, is not about telling lies or creating elaborate fabrications. It is about the masterful and disciplined control of information. It is the art of strategic silence. You must understand that the toxic person is a psychological data miner. They are constantly probing for your weaknesses, your insecurities, your hopes, and your fears. Every piece of personal information you give them is not a bond of friendship. It is a weapon they are cataloging to be used against you at a later date. Your deception, therefore, is to put them on a starvation diet of information. You must become a gray rock, an impenetrable, uninteresting, and utterly neutral surface. When they pry about your career struggles, you respond with a polite shrug. Oh, you know, work is work. When they ask about a sensitive relationship issue, hoping to find a crack they can exploit, you say, "We're handling it. Everything is fine. You give them nothing. No emotional hooks, no vulnerabilities, no narrative for them to sink their teeth into. You are polite. You are pleasant. You are utterly and completely boring. Think of the office gossip, the one who tries to pull you into their web of negativity and drama. They approach you with a hushed conspiratorial tone. Can you believe what Susan did in the meeting? It's just awful. The forceful response is to agree, to get angry, to engage in their drama. This makes you their ally and implicates you in their negativity. The deceptive response is to offer a neutral, dead-end statement. You say, with mild interest, "Wow, that sounds like a complicated situation. I'm sure it will work out." You have offered no opinion. You have given them no fuel. The conversation withers and dies from lack of oxygen. You have won by refusing to fight. You have deceived them into believing you are simply uninteresting, when in reality, you are being profoundly strategic. Conserve your emotional energy. Force wastes it in spectacular, useless explosions. Deception preserves it, and in the long war of attrition against a toxic person, your emotional energy is your most valuable and non-renewable resource. The third and most elegant rule for a complete life of power: you must be the lion and the fox. Machiavelli understood that power is not monolithic. It requires a dynamic duality, an ability to be two things at once. He wrote that a leader who is only a lion is reckless and will inevitably fall into traps. And a leader who is only a fox is weak and will be destroyed by those with more strength. To survive and thrive in a complex world, you must embody both. The lion is your strength, your directness, your courage. The lion is the part of you that looks someone in the eye and says no, without qualification or apology. The lion is the part of you that speaks an uncomfortable truth when it needs to be spoken, not with anger, but with unshakable conviction. It is the raw, unapologetic power of your will. It is the part of you that sets a boundary and enforces it without flinching. The lion is essential, but it is not enough. The lion, for all its magnificent strength, is simple. It can be easily led into a trap. That is why you must also be the fox. The fox is your cunning, your perception, your ability to see the game behind the game. The fox does not charge forward. It watches from the shadows. It listens